This is episode 4. Today we have a 2600 rated Phara, and before we get into that, this episode is going to be a little bit different from the previous 3, and the reason for that is because when I got this video submission, it was a lot shorter than the other ones, and at first I thought maybe I'm being trolled or I'm only getting like half of a game or something, and reasons for it not really fitting the criteria to make the channel. Oh, excuse me. So I looked at the video, I kind of just skimmed through it. I didn't watch it from start to finish, but I skimmed through it just to see what it was, and it's actually a full game. Which I was surprised by because the video length is only about 9.5 minutes long, so that's a really quick game. So I thought what I would do for this one is, because it's so short, I'd focus more on the reasons for why it's such a short game. I won't put any spoilers as to how the game will go, if it's the submitter whose team will dominate or if it's going to be vice versa. I'll let that play out as we're watching it. But I figure we'll take a different approach to this one, and we'll see how it goes, see if you guys like it, or if you guys want me to kind of go back to the original way of how I was doing things. So yeah, this is going to be on Route 66. Phara's pretty strong on this map. The things I'm looking for out of a good Phara on Route 66 on either offense or defense is, 1, to be able to stay alive, 2, to be able to harass, 1, the hit scans if they have any, which they should, especially in a platinum, like a mid-platinum level. Anywhere from mid-plat on up, I would expect there to at least be 1 hit scan, maybe even 2. But yeah, mainly staying alive and being able to harass the hit scans and the healers. If they can do that, they're doing their job perfectly. So, without further ado, let's get into this game, and let's see what we got. And if you want to submit any videos, the information's been up on the screen the whole time. I won't get too into that. Let's just get right into the game here. Alright, let's pause right here for a second. I just want to highlight something here. So we got a triple Q in our team, and the reason I want to point these 3 out is they're doing something I would encourage any and all triple teams to do, and that's don't hog one specific class by insta-locking. 1, you're risking tilting people just instantly. 2, it's presumptuous. 3, if you're triple queuing or higher, if you can be that well rounded like how they're doing it, they basically insta-lock 2 key roles, but they're in different categories. So you got your tank, you got your healer, and you got a DPS. If you're confident enough to triple queue with friends that you know are capable, and you guys can diversify to that extent, I think you're going to have a lot of success. So many times you get groups of 2 and up, and they both insta-lock DPS, or they'll both insta-lock tank or something, and then the other people that you have on your team might be tank mains, DPS, whatever, and then they're kind of left in an uncomfortable zone. And then on top of that, sometimes they don't even communicate, they don't join team chat, or they get aggressive and toxic in the chat. So the point I want to make there is, what that triple Q is doing, that is ideal. And if you are a triple queuer, strive for that type of balance, unless your other random teammates are okay with it, of course. But
Hey guys. Hello.
everybody's talking. That's a first for the videos that have been submitted to me. Usually the teams are pretty quiet. And I noticed you said hello too, so props to you on that. If these other 2 ever pick here, I'd like to see what our team comp's gonna be. Alright, I'm gonna be ready to pause in case you decide to show me. We're close. We got a Roadhog. Roadhog's a decent pick. Say Zenyatta or Anna would be my guess for the diamond.
Zenyatta or Lucio probably the best option.
We think alike. Pretty close anyway. I don't know if I'd go with the Lucio. He doesn't have a lot of heal targets. But the Zenyatta I would totally agree with. Oh, there we go. Okay, so they went Zenyatta. Oop. Let's rewind just a little bit. There we go. Alright, so let's talk team comp for a bit. So, I would say this is a very well-rounded team comp, especially on defense. I would question the McCree just because Soldier is probably a little bit more of a friendlier role to play for hit scan. But if he's good at McCree, I have no problem with this team comp. It's got a little bit of everything that you need. You're going to be able to be the aggressive Phara because you have the Mercy, assuming Mercy does what she's supposed to do, and that's follow you. So as long as you two are coinciding together well, you've got the Reinhardt shield, which should cover him, and should cover him, and will cover him, which is all good because you're not going to get a lot of healing out of Zenyatta, so the shield helps kind of, cover that up a bit. So that's perfect. And then on top of that, you have a self-healer and Roadhog, so even if the Zenyatta starts falling behind, he can keep his orb mainly focused on these two. He can kind of cover himself. She'll be covering you. And then she can also fly back down and help out. So I like this team comp. I think it's if you end up being the losing team, it definitely won't be because of what you guys are playing as. So that's a good little poke strategy. The Mercy's, she's on you, so that's what she should be doing. She's damage boosting you. I'd like to see you maybe try to get a couple bit more rockets off while they're moving up, but you got a good poke at the beginning. And what you're doing up here is great. You're staying out of sight. Let's rewind just a little bit. This is a shorter video. Oh, and I stopped at a good spot too. So you're using all of this for cover, so you're just kind of poking out, getting your shots off, and they don't really have a good line of sight on you, but because you have the splash damage, you're able to do damage right here, and they can't really get a shot off at you. This is good Phara play. I like what I'm seeing for the most part. The only little thing I would probably have advised you to do was maybe try to get a few more poke rockets off at them, but that's nitpicky.
Soldier's pushing left.
Alright, you're going left just to kind of get more poke. The D.Va kind of lets you finish her off.
Lucio down.
Good job picking the Lucio. It's good target awareness, or target priority.
Genji low. Genji down.
It's like another good shot. I'd be curious to see what their full comp is. They do have a Soldier, so you got to look out for him. Aside from the Soldier, though, and the D.Va, I suppose, they don't really have a lot of threat to you. And you did a good job avoiding D.Va there. The Soldier's trying to pick at you a bit, but you're doing a good job staying out of sight. Poking through the sign, that's intelligent. I like that. Alright, you took out the Soldier, so you're basically at free... Oh, Mercy rezzed. Alright, never mind. I was going to say you were at, like... Oh, you took him out again. Nice. Alright, so yeah, you got free reign now. You can play aggressive, and that's exactly what you're doing. The only real threat now is D.Va. You got away from her. D.Va's also falling back. Not really... D.Va doesn't seem to really be going for you that much. So So you've got pretty much free reign of the sky right now. The soldier is targeting you, but you're doing such a good job playing keep away, and the healers are on you. Like they're keeping you afloat.
Nice.
Alright.
Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Oh, he's
So
behind
this
us, he's
team
behind
is all over the place right now.
Yep.
You did a good
No,
job
but-
staying away from the soldier. The soldier did get a couple picks. Okay, let's stop there. So I did say I was going to kind of focus on what the other team was doing a little bit. So, yeah, this is a good spot. So, this is a pretty good ult. The only thing I would advise you on is you got D.Va right there. This isn't a good D.Va player. Whoever's playing this D.Va doesn't seem to know what they're doing, or they're just not very comfortable on the role of D.Va. And maybe they just got told, hey, play D.Va, we could use one of them or something. This ult, if you're in a higher SR, this ult wouldn't have killed anything other than maybe the Genji, which in its own right would be fine because that was an ulting Genji. But if this D.Va looked up at you in defense matrix, she'd have ate your entire ult unless your team kind of bails you out and takes out the mech. So the only thing I would really advise here is when there's a D.Va in play, be very careful of where the D.Va is in relation to where you're ulting, because if they eat your entire ult, that sucks. And you've got a pretty, you got a pretty strong ult with Phara. And if you can combo it with something, that's even better. Now, your team doesn't have anything to combo it with, but that's okay because you can still get kills with it, as we saw when you got Soldier the first time. And this looks like it's going to be, if I remember right, a double or a triple kill. Triple kill. So you got Reinhardt, Lucio, and Genji. That's good. And you probably could get that Mercy if you didn't bail away. But, okay, because you didn't get Mercy, everybody's back except Lucio. You did a good job killing Lucio. So your team isn't on the cart right now, and I'm not really sure why that is. They should be diving on that cart. Okay, maybe now they shouldn't be because D.Va ulted, but D.Va didn't get anybody, so that's another point to this D.Va just not being a good D.Va. This D.Va should be retreating right now. I don't know what this D.Va's trying to do. Okay, there she goes. A little slow to it, but she finally did it. I've been noticing the enemy team is trickling a little bit, and that was a good example right there. Like, the D.Va's trying to poke right now, and I don't know what she thinks she's going to do in there. She had a little bit of help, but she should be waiting. The rest of her team isn't with her. It's only part of a team. So you're on a 15 kill streak. That's really good. They all seem to be camping into that tunnel. If you had your ult right now, you'd probably get close to a team right. Except they left the Mercy behind. And that's part of why I say this team is trickling. And this is a good example of what not to do in a competitive game. So when your teammates say group up, this is why. Because, okay, he just killed Mercy. Now Genji just comes out and he picks him off. And none of these guys can do anything about the Phara. Oh. Let's go back just a little bit.
Just be done with it. Just got back.
Okay, so let's stop right here. So this is the problem I have or noticed when I was in low plat back in season 2.5. So it's pretty obvious Phara is the main reason this team is decimating right now. There's a few reasons for this team being so good. One, they're communicating. Two, they're attacking and doing things pretty much together. And three, you're decimating them. And the problem is their team comp. So let's look at this a little bit. Let's analyze why you're able to do what you are doing. So you've got a really experienced 76, and he's trying. He is trying and he's hitting you, but you're doing a good job playing keep away. So he's bringing you to about 50%, 60% health. You get back and the Mercy's on you. If she's not on you when you're in the sky, by the time you're kind of hiding, I noticed either Mercy or Zenyatta, they got you covered. And they're keeping you at maximum efficiency, maximum aggressiveness, which is great. That's what your healer should be doing. Here's the problem if we're discussing the red team. This is no longer a one-person job to take out the Phara. He can't do it by himself unless one of two things happens. He has to either use his ult solely to get Phara, and he has to catch Phara wide open to do it, or he has to get a Helix rocket dead on while he's spamming his shots at you in order to just finish you off no matter what the healers are doing. The likelihood of that happening, I think we can all agree on in a medium to lower end platinum game is unlikely. That's asking a lot for a 76 to do. So, in a higher game, the D.Va, you could expect more pressure from the D.Va, but we're not getting it from this user. So what I would be encouraging if I was this 76 is, now we had a Genji on the team, but they switched to Winston. I would say that's a bad swap because they're already pretty low on damage, and the Winston doesn't counter a lot that's on this team. He can kind of do some damage to the McCree. He'll do good against the Zenyatta if he can use his bubble well, and if Mercy doesn't have anybody to fly to, he can harass her. The problem is she does have somebody to fly to. That would be you, the Phara, or just wherever the rest of these guys are. But the fact that she can escape vertically makes the Winston a bad swap. What I would have encouraged the Winston to go would have been either McCree would have been number one, and if he's not good at McCree, try a Roadhog, see if he can hook you down, which, again, that's not ideal, but maybe it'll work. Or if he feels more comfortable on D.Va, have him go D.Va. And then have this person swap to something else that they're a little bit more comfortable on. The other thing is I would have swapped out the Lucio for a Zenyatta, because if they can Discord orb you, that gives the 76 at least a bit more of a fighting chance. That way, if your healers are a little bit slower to react, or if they get busy healing somebody else, and next thing you know, you're starting to get hammered, and maybe you're a little slower to react to hiding to the 76, the Discord orb being on you maybe helps him bring you down a little bit. But the problem is that they're not supporting the 76. So anybody watching this, and if your team's getting decimated by a Phara Mercy combination, and your team's only running a 76, don't get on the 76 about not bringing the Phara down. As soon as he's being pocket healed, it's more than a one-person job, and this is a prime example of that. This is more than a one-person. They're making you, the way you're playing and the way your healers are keeping you afloat, it's more than a one-person job for the red team to bring you down, and they're not supporting their 76 in doing that. And now the soldier's just kind of making a last-ditch effort. He didn't go in with the team. Not that he had a lot of time, but he still could have approached that a little bit differently. There's a Winston who bubbled way too early. That bubble's not doing anything. The blue bubble was a good one.
Good hold, good hold.
But the red Winston bubble did nothing. The attacking 76 kind of went in before everybody else. His little last effort ditch push was worthless. So you see a lot of mistakes, but they're all mostly from the red team. I don't really see a lot of problems so far with your play or what your team is doing. Really, the only thing I'd have been picky about you doing was your choice of when you ulted, but you got away with it because the D.Va's just not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So looking at this team comp, now we're on attack. I'll tell you what I like about it. Everything I said about the triple Q from before stands as before. They're all handling their roles like you would want them to. The McCree's holding his weight. He's doing well. What I like the most is these two picks, and the reason why I like them is because it gives the attackers mobility, and you need mobility attacking on Route 66 because everybody starts or should be starting on the gas station. Now, I'm going to give you one example in particular for why you shouldn't start on the gas station, and it's actually applies to this game we're watching. The reason you shouldn't start on the gas station for this game in particular is because our submitter, he doesn't have very far to push the cart. So if you start on the gas station, you're basically giving them half of the length of what they need to win the game. So if they team wipe you even once, they basically push the cart 10, 20 feet and they've got it. Any other scenario, though, always start on the gas station. And the reason for that being is, one, that gives you the high ground. Two, if the attacking team picks off any of your defenders when you're attacking on that long straightaway, the amount of time it takes your team to get back to the fight is a lot longer than it takes the attackers to respawn and get back into the fight. So that gives the attackers a big advantage. Now, it's okay to poke if you're certain heroes, like if you play Torbjorn and you put a turret, you know, somewhere where the attackers are spawning, just to build a little bit of ult charge. Same thing with Symmetra turrets. We saw the Phara earlier in the video kind of poke at him, which was good. Certain things like that are okay, but if you're playing like 76, if you're playing McCree, don't even try it, is basically what I'm getting at. If you're like a Widow or a Hanzo, it's okay to poke, but if they run another Widow or Hanzo, then you're kind of asking for trouble. You're kind of setting yourself up to maybe be at an immediate disadvantage. So just some things to kind of take away from that to think about for when you guys are playing on Route 66. So let's see how this round actually plays out here. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what the mobility of both the Phara, the Winston, and the Mercy can do to kind of harass the upstairs gas station tactic, assuming that's what they do. I've seen plenty of people in the lower to medium plat range not take that location and play closer to the attacker's spawn. And in a game like this, I would actually probably encourage that, but only in a game like this. Otherwise, I would expect them to be on top of the gas station, and that's really the only place you should ever really, truly be. So we'll see what they do here. My money's on they're going to be closer to the spawn, though, if I had to guess.
Wow. That's mean.
I like the communications that this team is doing too. Nobody's being annoying or overly talkative. I've heard some decent call-outs.
They have Widowmaker.
Careful.
That's a good call-out.
Where is she? Where is she?
High ground left side.
Okay, you
is
guys
she on
are
the-
communicating about Widow. That's
on the
good.
rocks or? Oh, Bastion.
Ooh, they're running. I
I'm
don't.
gonna knock the Reinhardt off, then we can shoot the Bastion.
All right. Ooh, this is a perfect pause too. Okay, so, yeah, let's talk about. All right, there's a few things we can talk about here. First of all, you had a very good idea with knocking the Reinhardt off, and the Reinhardt should have been paying attention to you. If you're a defending Reinhardt and you've got like a Bastion or a Torbjorn or a sniper, your shield is vital to surviving up here. All this area needs to be blocked off by you. Now, I know you can't block it all off at once, but you need to be able to cover that area as a Reinhardt. Now, if you know the other team's running a Phara, you got to be looking out for the Phara booping you off. And that's exactly what's about to happen here. So the Reinhardt, he's going to go flying that way, And now we've got a Bastion just wide open. Now, here's the problem that I have with the Bastion. One, he's playing really far back, so he's kind of setting himself up for a big bullet spread. So I don't know what he's really... I don't think he's going to be that effective there, even if you don't take him out, though I would expect you to be able to take him out, and I think you're going to. But if you don't, I don't see him being that effective. Now, on top of that, this is where you got to go. And the cart's probably already somewhere over in this range. So, I don't know. I'd like to see something more aggressive than a Bastion here. I'd actually encourage Torbjorn. There's not a lot of times that I'm a Torbjorn encourager. But actually, last night, I had a overtime defense on Route 66 playing Torbjorn, and it worked out tremendously working with Symmetra. So if they ran Symmetra, Shield Generator, and a Torbjorn, and you try to do that double stack of hit points, that keeps this team going long enough to try to keep you from getting that objective in 3.5 minutes. That's doable, and I know it's very doable because I did it last night, and it's actually pretty easy to do as long as the attacking team doesn't hunt down the shield generator, which a good team should do, but luckily last night I got lucky and that didn't happen. But yeah, the Bastion, I'm not loving it. So I think you're going to be able to take that out pretty quickly. Let's find out if I'm right.
Focus Bastion, focus Bastion.
Yep.
Nice, nice.
Between you and the Reinhardt, he went down in a hurry. And, wait, hold on a second. I didn't even see you get the Lucio.
Focus Bastion, focus Bastion. Nice, nice.
Oh, okay, he was standing by the Bastion, so yeah, okay, well, good job.
Alright, we got this.
It's like you almost don't even see it.
And down.
And you got another good pick. So, like the Widow, too, I'd almost think that this enemy team was throwing at this point. I don't know what they saw picking a Widow either. But yeah, you team wiped them once, and that was basically it. You booped the, I think that's a soldier. Nice. Yep, it was, and you got the kill anyway.
Good game.
So yeah, not a lot to talk about here on this attack. That's why I kind of paused it for as long as I did, just to kind of stretch it out a little bit. I wouldn't doubt that the enemy team kind of threw and got toxic toward the end of that, because that was a pretty pathetic defense. I would have encouraged the Widow to go Symmetra and the Bastion to go Torbjorn or something in that realm. So you got play of the game. I'm betting it's when the D.Va didn't block you. Yeah, see, D.Va's reaction time to that was just pathetic. Like, she did it, but it came so late. So that pretty much covers it. That's a pretty short episode today. You played really well. I don't have a lot of advice to give you, to be honest, because of the way that game went. You know, you could have gotten away with being slightly more aggressive at the beginning, getting pokes when you were playing defense. But I can understand why you kind of played it the way you did, because if they run a Widow or something like that, you'd be maybe a little too open. Maybe could have got another rocket or two off, but, you know, all that would have done for you is maybe get you a little bit more ult charge or a little extra damage for the metal case. Aside from that, you know, you were getting healed, you were getting pocket healed, so for any of the healers watching out here, keep your Pharas alive, and if they play even half as good as this guy did, you'll have a good game. You'll decimate. So this covers episode 4. It's a little bit of a shorter episode today, so I hope you guys learned something, and I'll catch you guys in a few days with episode 5. Thank you, and have a good day.